Hi, I'm Heather, and today I'm going to show you how you can still have a garden even when you're living in a small space. I'll be planting strawberries in a bucket.
Gardening in buckets is really useful whether you are living in an apartment and all you have is patio space, or you're renting and can't dig up the yard to put in a garden, or maybe you're just looking to bring the garden a little closer to your back door. There are some important things to remember about gardening in buckets though, and the first thing is that your bucket must have drainage. For that to happen, we, meaning my husband, previously drilled some holes in the bottom of the bucket, as you can see. So now the water will be able to drain through rather than creating a swampy mess. Another way to increase drainage and to lessen compaction is to put in a layer of rocks on the bottom. You could also use really coarse, chunky bark for the same effect, but rocks are pretty easy to find for free, and I like free things. You don't need too many rocks. A layer an inch or two deep should be just fine. The next important thing to remember about gardening in buckets is the potting mix. Never, ever, ever use soil you've dug up from the yard or from somewhere. Even if it looks nice in your yard, it will turn very cement-like in your bucket. So always use a soilless potting or grow mix. Another advantage to using a potting mix is it should be weed-free, so there shouldn't be any weed seeds lingering in there, and you won't have to weed your bucket garden. I'm using some mix from IFA, but you should get pretty good results whatever kind you use. You do want to avoid potting mixes that have too much bark in them, though. That can create some compaction problems. But a mix like this, which has some nutrients, a little bit of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, will really help your plants grow the best they can. You'll want to fill the bucket most of the way to the top with the potting mix because it will settle a bit when you water it, but you don't want to fill it too full because it is nice to have a little bit of a lip when watering. With these strawberries, if you were to plant them in the garden, you'd space them about 18 inches apart, so we'll just do 1 or 2 in the case of this really small one per bucket. Now we'll just water them in and find a sunny place on the patio to put them. Throughout the season, you will need to check them daily to decide if they need more water. A good way to tell is not just by looking, but by sticking your finger down in the potting mix a couple inches to see if it's still moist or if it's dry and crumbly, and then make sure to water it thoroughly. You also might want to add a little bit of supplemental fertilizer later in the season to make sure they are getting the most help they can so that you can have a wonderful bucket garden.
So there you have it, a strawberry in a bucket for your patio garden.